Hey everybody, it's Saturday night, midnight for you guys, or Saturday, I should say Sunday for you guys on the East Coast. 9 o'clock Pacific, still here. Welcome to Wrestling Fans Insight post AEW Worlds End space. Again, we're just kind of trying things out, checking, just trying to do different flavors for the show. But we just finished. Well, I'd say honestly was a mid pay-per-view. I mean, if I'm being honest, but we'll get into that more. I'm joined here with my co-host John. John, how are you?
Doing good. Been a little busy, so sorry for the lack of interactions out there lately, folks. But after the first year, it should get better here and should be back at full force with all my normal nonsense. So,
Sure.
it happens.
But again, just a quick, want to wish everybody a happy new year. Hopefully you guys are getting to enjoy this time. Hope 2024 is everything you want it to be. Want to just give a quick shout out to Christopher and also Showtime who are listening right now. Thank you guys for joining the show. But yeah, let's start it off. So kind of, I guess we'll just go over the match results a little bit, then we can talk a little bit about the card. And go match by match. So tonight we had Willow Nightingale started the show off defeating Chris Statlander. And then they had the Battle Royal, which again to me it was kind of like the Ring of Honor Battle Royal, for being honest. Kill Switch won the Battle Royal. Hook defeated Wheeler Yuta. And then on the main card, we got Claudio, Bryan Danielson, Mark Briscoe, and Daniel Garcia defeating the Jays, and then Brody King and Roosh. We got Miro defeating Andrade. We got Tony Storm defeating Riho. Then we got Swerve defeating Dustin Rhodes, who was substituting for Keith Lee, who apparently is injured and couldn't pass protocol. Then we got Sting, Darby, Jericho, and Sammy defeating the Don Callis family, and then Ricky Starks and Big Bill. And then we got Julia Hart defeating Abaddon. We got Adam Copeland defeating Christian, and then we had Kill Switch come out to attack Adam Copeland like he was going to cash in his contract for the TNT title shot, similar to Money in the Bank. And then Christian whispered something in his ear, and he got him to give him the contract. And then Christian defeated Adam Copeland, so he's still the TNT champion. We got Eddie Kingston defeating John Moxley for the Triple Crown Championship. And in the main event, we got Samoa Joe defeating MJF. And then we finally got the reveal of the devil, which it was Adam Cole. And then his henchmen are The Kingdom, Roderick Strong, and Wardlow. So really quick overall thoughts on the pay-per-view that we can go match by match.
You really want it?
Yeah, I mean, be honest.
It was a mess. And
yeah.
I'm going to just kind of throw this out there. We're not going to talk about it too much because, one, I think it's been blown out of proportion because nobody has any fucking clue what's really going on. But the news of the allegations over Chris Jericho, I think, is what kind of killed the mood for the pay-per-view crowd tonight. We saw it, and based off of actual fan I know in the attendance, a lot of the booing that was going on in that Chris Jericho match was actually the fans that were boos going toward the fans, acting like a bunch of little assholes, is what I found out. So, I mean, at least kind of good on fans for, trying to tell people to mellow out, at least the ones with some sense.
Yeah.
But that kind of killed the card. I think, you know, it did take a low blowout. Finding out Keith Lee was injured, so we weren't going to get the match with Swerve Strickland. I thought that was going to be a decent match for the night, and unfortunately, just like any other type of event, card subject to change at any time. That held true tonight. Overall, I would say this was probably about maybe a 2 to a 2.5 out of
Wow.
5.
All right.
Yeah,
Damn.
I mean it was a little rough to watch tonight.
So like again for me, the honest way I went to the card is like I wanted to, because I noticed like the last few times I've been on my phone, because again we respond a lot with our followers on X, and so I was kind of like I want to make sure I'm not on. I want to be not on my phone and be on the moment, but I just found myself bored to death. Like I was like I'm gonna go on my phone and I'm not gonna watch. It's just the thing that I feel First of all, just a quick thing about the Chris Jericho thing. I mean, again, I'm not afraid, but to me, innocent until proven guilty. And the thing is, too, there's a lot of stuff that goes on in wrestling. So if you're going to condemn him, if if he ends up being condemned and you're going to condemn him, then you better not ever watch WWE again, because Vince McMahon has been proven to do this time and time again. That's why he left. He's paid people off. So if again, and it's unfortunate, like this is one of those. It's a black eye for pro wrestling. Unfortunately, it's a very old school mentality of how you get on the card and stuff like that. And again, I'm not saying Chris Jericho is guilty of anything. It's something that needs to change in pro wrestling. You know, it's something that's been going on for a long time, and again, you can't ignore it as a wrestling fan. And it's not okay just to single one person out. You know, my whole thing about this, and again, we don't know anything yet, and just to quickly touch on it, is if Nick Hoffman was sitting on this information for a long time and it turns out to be true, then that's his bad. You know, I just feel like that's really gross too. But again, I agree with John. I think for me, I think the big thing I would say is they need next year, if they're gonna do the Continental Classic, they need to do like 2 matches on Rampage, 2 matches on Dynamite, 2 matches on Collision, and 2 matches on Rampage, because I feel like they dedicated so much to that, and it didn't really give a lot of time to develop these other stories for these other matches. You know, I mean, and again, you can always throw on a lot of good showings, but the same time, for this crowd, you could just tell this crowd wanted storylines. This crowd wanted to be invested, and it's a New York crowd. And I feel like they just didn't live up to the crowd, you know? And so, I also feel they made a mistake with not starting with Adam Copeland. I would have had Adam Copeland and Christian start off the card, because again, they are veterans. They know how to get a crowd hot. And I just feel like having them, Eddie and Mox, and then the main event be back to back to back, that was a lot. That was just a lot to handle. They should have had them be the start. That should have opened the show in my point of view, and that would have helped things out a lot better with the crowd. As far as what everything else goes, again, I just feel like, again, if they would have had more time to build the matches, I think that would have done a lot better. I think that the tag team thing should have been for the tag titles. Also, like I said, I would have just had more time to sell the matches. I feel like they just didn't get to develop the card enough, and so much time was given in the Continental Classic, and then even that 8-man tag kind of fell flat. Another thing I would have done too is I would have moved Hook and Wheeler Yuta to the main card, and I would have just had Swerve and Dustin on the pre-show. Did Christopher or Drew, do you guys want to give your overall thoughts on the card, and then we can go match by match and talk about it? Go ahead, Christopher. You have your hand up first.
The matches that I liked tonight was the Miro and Andrade match, the MJF and Samoa Joe match, and the Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley match. And I thought it was a very good show, in my opinion, towards the end. But the middle was just, it was like getting in a fight, man, to me, because I was like, if Kingston loses and Joe, I'm giving this show a 2.5 star.
Yeah.
And then I gave it a 4 just because of Samoa Joe and Kingston.
So you gave it a 4 out of 5 or 4 out of 10?
4 out of 5 stars, if you want to talk about stars.
Okay.
But if you want to go out 1 out of 10, I give it an 8 out of 10.
All right. And then Drew, what were your overall thoughts about the show? Then we can go match by match.
Gotcha. So overall, I would rate the show a 7 out of 10. The show to me, it felt a little weird, right? And the Swerve Strickland thing. I mean, I get putting him in the pre-show with Dustin because it's him against Dustin, and there's no really any build to that. But at the same time, it's like Swerve is probably one of the hottest commodities in that company right now. So having him in the buy-in would be kind of criminal. I'm not gonna lie there. In terms of the show overall, like I said, it felt weird. It started out kind of slow. The middle was to me it was a lot of fluff, and it picked up towards the end. I think after basically when the Edge and Christian match happened, that's when the show really started to pick up towards the end. Um, like I said, a lot of the stuff in the middle, it was kind of fluff. I think as well, like the 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 Jericho thing, I think kind of just it put a damper on the pay per view overall. I think it kind of deflated, some of the card. Luckily, the last couple of matches really delivered, and the closing angle delivered, and that's probably what we're gonna remember from the show. But I don't know, it just and the match itself, the match with Jericho and them, the match itself, it just felt clunky. It felt like there was something going on there. It felt like some people weren't on the same page. I don't know what's going on there. It just felt like a mess. And I think even Jericho, you could kind of tell he wasn't really himself. But that's just me. That's just me, like kind of just observing the body language and stuff like that. So overall, it was not their best. I wouldn't say it was their worst. I mean, it was still above, I think All Out 2020, which was the one where we had, Matt Hardy in the concussion, or maybe Revolution, that closing angle with the barbed wire death match. But like I said, it wasn't bad. It was solid. It delivered, but it could have been way better, in my opinion.
Now, do you think it would have been better if they would have had Adam Copeland and Christian open the show?
If they opened it, so uh, maybe, because yeah, if you open the show with them, the crowd would have been hot from the start.
Yeah.
So what I would have probably done is I probably would have put, the Edge and Christian, to start the show. I would have put Moxley and Eddie Kingston in the middle, just so the crowd doesn't die down too much, and then have the closing angle with MJF and the Devil reveal. Or honestly, you can start off with Eddie Kingston and Moxley.
But like one, but you like, but one of those either one of those two big matches should have started the show off, right? Like that's how I feel
Yeah,
too.
yeah, it works. It'll work either way. I mean, people are not gonna they're not gonna fall asleep with Kingston and Mox. They're not, or Edge and Christian, because those are the big three. Those are the big three matches that basically sold the show. Everything else was kind of, it was kind of put together last minute, or the storyline didn't have that much heat into it. So I mean, yeah, I will say that the match order, or the card order, could have been a little bit better. Um, but yeah, no, sticking that Jericho match in the middle of the show. I mean, honestly, I would have done it a little bit sooner. Just get that out the way and just move on with the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I mean, the show, felt kind of off, but I mean, it wasn't bad. It wasn't terrible. It was pretty solid. I'll say
But
that.
did it live up to your expectations? I would say that, right?
Oh man, I don't think it lived up to my expectations, in the sense of what we saw the previous two pay-per-views, right? I think the previous two pay-per-views were stronger than this one. And like I said, I don't know if it's just me. I don't know, you guys can chime in, but every time AEW has a pay-per-view, I don't know if there's an agenda out there or something like that, but every time they have a pay-per-view, we always get some big controversial news or some dirt. It's like, I don't know. It's like the dirt sheet. Just, oh, we uh AEW pay-per-views this weekend. Okay, let's get the dirt out. Like, I don't know. It just seems very odd that every time they have a pay-per-view, on either the day before or the day of, something leaks out or something starts, circling the webs, and then all of a sudden it's like, all the people are looking, hyped up for, for the card or whatever, are just like kind of like, okay, so I don't know. I'll check out the post show media scrum, but yeah, those are just my thoughts.
So right there is kind of like my question for you. Do you think they should quit doing the post show media scrums? Because I feel like that's the big problem right there, is that people want to see if they can get dirt with them, and also I just feel like they don't really do anything with these media scrums. Tony's, if he gets asked about Jericho, he's not gonna answer it, and also I don't think anyone's gonna be that ballsy, because I don't think they want to lose access to AEW. So do you think that, to counter your point, do you think they should just cancel the media scrums?
No, I will say this. No. The reason why I say this is because it's the media scrum isn't the problem itself. It's how you handle the media scrum, right? So let's say if they're gonna ask a question about Jericho or whatever, right? Before the media scrum starts, notify the people in the room that those type of questions will not be allowed. You gotta know how to mediate the situation in terms of media scrums, right? Because I don't think the media scrums are the problem. I mean, the media scrums, honestly, if served right, um, it gives more detail on certain statuses of the wrestlers, or things that people might have not known, or or just the wrestlers' reactions or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they're completely useless. And plus, Tony Khan wants to move to a sports-based presentation. And if you look at the UFC, if you look at boxing events, they always have post-show, media scrums and face-offs and all that other jazz. So I think I think it lends to part of the presentation. It's just, like I said, it's how you mediate, how you control the room in those situations. So, I mean, that's honestly just my thoughts. But like I said, I don't think they harm anything. I don't think they, do much of anything. It's just how you control it, you know?
Anyone else have an opinion about that? Do you think they should stop the media scrums? Anyone else in the room? And again, if you're in the room, if you want to get mic requests, feel free to request the mic.
Well, let me chime in real quick.
Sure.
I agree with Drew. One of my biggest gripes, you and Brian have heard this on previous recordings we've done in the past. My problem with some of these media scrums is I don't think they lay down some of the ground rules to some of these guys that will ask the questions. And now, more than ever, infamous Nick Cosman is one of those examples I like to use, because one, I already think he's a moron long before what's happened today. But, he's asking questions that really have no business being in the media scrums. When it comes to media scrums, post conference, whatever the hell you want to call them, for me, those types of events really you should be asking questions, something like, okay, who do you see next as your challenger, or what's next for you moving on, or, ask very basic questions. But when you sit here and try to get dirt behind the scenes or getting into personal stories, those are off limits, and that's should always be the key when it comes to any event like that.
Chris, did you want to chime in?
Okay.
Chris,
you want to go first?
Yeah, I mean, saged up, pay a little, get a lot. NVStream702.com, the only place you should ever watch anything. No, I don't want to chime in. And the Dana White press scrums were always fun to me in the UFC. I confess, not only did I not watch the AEW press scrum, but I didn't watch the show tonight. So
I'm going to save you some time. Don't.
That was my I did my homework on Wednesday and I tried to find the space and I couldn't and then I didn't come prepared tonight and you say don't, so I'll heed your advice. There's nothing worth watching.
Well, I usually give a generous review of most pay-per-views and try to have open thoughts. And like I told
I almost went to it in person. I'm kind of
like I told Carlos, this did not impress me tonight. In fact, I hate to say it, but I think it was Drew that mentioned this wasn't their worst. No, I'm gonna say it. This was their worst pay-per-view event ever.
No, sorry to hear that.
I have a question for the room really quick.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Would you guys have, and again, I'm in a group chat and where we do predictions and stuff like that. Would you guys have been okay if they would have inserted Swerve into the main event? And he would have walked out as the world champion.
Not yet.
I don't. Yeah, I'd build Swerve. I want Swerve.
Build them up for next year.
Yeah.
Okay, just a random question again. Because for me, like I might just go for it, but again, I just want to get the room's feel about that, So you think he still needs to be built up some more?
Yeah. So for me, it's like basically making cookies, right? You don't want to take the cookies out when the cookie dough is still not made and baked. You know
like
what I'm saying?
Raw cookie dough. That's not a good
exactly.
analogy.
You have to.
I'll get salmonella. I'll risk it. I'm ready to die for some
Yep.
good cookie dough. It's still raw.
Oh man. But no, like I said, you have to keep him at a steady pace and you have to make sure that, the temperature is just right. They have to get the timing right on Swerve.
So how about if go ahead. Sorry.
They cannot fumble. If they do it too early, I don't know. It might not feel right. It might feel a little bit too forced. It might have been like, okay, he's the hot hand right now. Let's put the belt on him right away. I don't think that's it's not a recipe for disaster, but it's not necessarily a recipe for the best possible outcome. I think they have to do it when the timing is absolutely right. And I think that what I see is Samoa Joe. He's gonna hold that championship. I'm gonna say 3 months. Let's say 3 months. Maybe they stretch it out to All In. I don't know. Or maybe it's Joe and then maybe Adam Cole later on. But I see Joe kind of being that transitional champion, and then having Swerve, basically take the championship off of Joe. But like I said, with Swerve, you gotta take your time with Swerve. You can't do it too early. You can't do it too late. It's just all about the right time because he's hot right now. You just got to keep building him. Just keep building him.
So how about scenario number 2? How about if you would have challenged Orange Cassidy for the international championship and would have won that?
No.
Still no? Okay.
That is beneath him right now.
It's beneath him. Oh wow. Okay.
That championship, Orange Cassidy hasn't done that much. His second run has been okay at best. His first one was excellent. The way he lost it, excellent. His second run, no. And I think Swerve is he's over that. He's too I think he's too big for that title right now. That title it doesn't really have that much prestige right now. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't. I mean, Orange Cassidy, what's the lineage of that title? It's Orange Cassidy. It was Mox for like a week. Who else? I can't even remember who the
it
original,
was Pac, right? Pac was the first, right?
It was Pac first.
Pac.
And Orange
Okay.
Cassidy.
Where's Pac?
And
I don't
he's
even know.
injured, and then it was Moxley, then it was Ray Phoenix, and then Orange Cassidy.
Oh, Ray Phoenix for like a week or two.
Yeah.
But you get what I mean. It's I mean, it'd be right now the TNT title has more prestige right now. If you were to tell me, oh, he might challenge for the TNT title, I might be like, okay, well, he can use the TNT title right now to solidify him as a top guy or near, the top of the card, and then have him use the TNT title as I wouldn't say a stepping stone, but as a way to get to that World Heavyweight Championship later on in 2024. Now that would make a little bit more sense. But any other title at this point is beneath him.
And then do you feel like, because I feel the same way too, do you feel like if he would have won the Ring of Honor title, that was beneath him too?
Yes, Ring of Honor right now it's kind of non-existent. It's right now the only titles that they're using for Ring of Honor that you see on TVs is the tag titles, but they're using that as a vehicle to further a storyline. They're not using that as a vehicle to add prestige to the titles themselves. So no, that would be beneath him.
And again, I appreciate because that's something we were talking about in our space yesterday, because people were like, Swerve should have won this, and it's like, no, because being Ring of Honor champ and the New Japan Strong champ is beneath him. Like, if he's going to do it, it needs to be the AEW World Championship.
Yeah, the Ring of Honor is dead right now. I checked them out this week. They do have a couple of things going on. I particularly like the Athena Billy Stark's story or whatever they're doing over there, because I know they're high on Billy Starks and they're building her up to be I don't know whether it's the second coming to Bailey or whatever, but they're putting a lot of stock into her. But besides that, Ring of Honor is not. It's still pretty dead. Unless they get a streaming deal, or maybe they get some type of exclusive deal somewhere. Yeah, I don't see much stock in Ring of Honor right now.
Does anyone else want to chime in on your general thoughts before we go down card match by match? Anyone have any general thoughts or want to chime in on Swerve? Go ahead, Christopher.
Oh, man, Swerve is a great wrestler, man. Love that dude, man. I'm telling you. Works his ass off, I'm telling you, man. I would love, that would be, the thing that everybody says, I don't know if everybody watches them on here. They do that knowledge thing with the Roman Reigns thing, but I just wish they could say acknowledge Swerve Strickland, but that's just what I'm just saying. But
and I do think it is kind of with the Who's House, that is a kind of acknowledgement,
Yeah.
Go ahead, Leroy.
Like that.
Oh, I didn't want to cut off him, I don't want to cut off Chris. General talk, I'm going to say this as a wrestler, as a performer. I hate when shit don't break, bro. I hate when shit don't break. I just fucking hate that guy. That shit pisses me off. I ain't going to hold you.
You talking about the flaming table?
Yeah, I hate when shit don't break.
Oh, I saw that. I was like, damn, that's brutal.
Not only just not just the table, but like when shit like supposed to break, that's nothing frustrating. Like I hate that shit. I know Joey hates that shit. I know anybody that does any kinds of hardcore matches, when you're about to put somebody through a door or chair, not a chair, but you about to do a door spot, or you about to do a table spot or whatever, and you about to throw somebody and it don't fucking break, you just be like, God, man. Fucking damn it.
No, did you see they were having trouble igniting the fire again?
Yeah, bro.
Oh man, I was like, no, please, no.
I hate that shit too, bro. Like, as somebody who dabbles in hardcore wrestling and I dabble in fucking street fights and shit, I fucking hate when that shit happens. Just in general. Luckily, they fucking, I'm big enough where that shit will break. Cause I have been in the ring where motherfucker threw me through a chair or a door. No, I think it was a door. This just didn't fucking break. And I got mad. I fucking sold the shit out of my shit. Don't get me wrong. I'm still gonna sell it. I sold the shit, but even after I sell the shit, I just like was fucking got the chair and I'm like, you god damn it, chair. Fucking god damn it. Be open. You should be kicking shit. You should be kicking the door. You should be like, get open, and then they'd be like, chair for more than door to break and shit like that.
Yeah, it would have meant more if he would have went through the table and broke it than lighting it back on fire and then missing. Like that was just I agree. Christopher, did you have something else to say real quick? You had your hand up shortly, briefly.
Yeah, like I was talking about, Swerve. His match, it was just not my cup of tea tonight with Dustin Rhodes, but I still happy that he won. But like with what he needs, I think is the AEW World Title probably in 6 months or a year. But that's just my opinion. But okay, wait.
And go ahead, Drew.
Oh, so Christopher, so yeah, I mean the match itself, I mean it was good. It was I mean you could deem it a dynamite match. But just you just gotta know that they probably did put that together last minute. And I also have a question for the room. What are your thoughts on like reporters like Nick Hausman? Like I don't know. I feel like he always has some type of agenda. I don't know, or some type of bias. I don't know. Like it's always him though. It's always either him or maybe someone even like Meltzer, but it's always he's the focal point. I don't know.
I feel like
Weird.
I feel like Sean Ross Sapp gets too much heat from people. I think he's a very fair journalist. And so
Sean Ross Sapp is pretty neutral. He always tries to vet his sources. He always tries to come clean when it comes to his reporting. I think he even went to school for journalism. So he's probably, to me, he's probably the most credible out of everybody. It'd probably be that, probably Body Slam and PW Torch, but other than that.
And then also like Matt Man too. I like Andrew Zarian because he's like, I'm not a journalist, dude. I'm just somebody who likes wrestling and who gets scoops. Like, I like him a lot too.
Yeah, Zarian, yep.
Zarian's great. I think again for me, I think again we as fans think we know everything, but we don't. I think like with wrestling, unfortunately there's a lot of dark stuff that goes on behind the scenes that, and again, I probably don't want to know things because I don't want to have that ruined for me. And I feel like, again, this information, again, I think that unfortunately this kind of stuff happens and I'm not condoning, I'm not saying it's okay, and things like that. But the same time, like if someone gets paid off, then they're getting paid off to be quiet. And I just feel like this is something that I think that those people that have access, they know these kind of things are happening backstage. And I think to bring it up now, I think it's tacky. I think he's doing it out of resentment now that CM Punk's not there in AEW no more, or maybe they refuse to give him access. Now he's retaliating against them, because before, when he's front and center in these scrums, he never had an issue. But now, and again, why didn't he bring this up a year ago when Jericho's been at every media scrum? Why has he never brought it up before? He's bringing it up because he has a vendetta now. And that to me, it makes him just as bad, and again, it makes him just as bad if he had all this information, but now he's just using it because he has a vendetta against AEW. It's vile to me. That's just as vile. But again, I think these are just unseen. These are unknown things that we don't know about. Just like, you see all these drug problems and things going on, and just wrestlers sleep with each other, and it's just things that, quite frankly, I don't want to know all that stuff. Like again, maybe where we should want to keep kayfabe alive a little bit, because I just think there's a lot of dark things of how people get pushes and stuff like that. Again, I just to me, it was very bad on his part. I think because it's not like he didn't just know this, and comparing him to, again, he just totally comparing him to Harvey Weinstein without, again, I just thought it was really bad. And again, it obviously has an agenda because now, a year ago he was sitting front and center, all out, and now that CM Punk's not in AEW no more, maybe he did it for CM Punk. It's just tacky all around, if you ask me.
Well, and Nick Hausman, I'm sorry, he committed the biggest suicide move right here because, to Carlos's point, if he's actually had this correct 100% with what he's allegating at Chris Jericho, he's going to get a shit ton of heat for holding back information. However, on the other side, if what it is allegations and nothing true, and he has nothing. He's really just made himself look like the biggest jackass in the world. So, but again, I've already stated my feelings about Nick Hausman. I think he's an idiot. He's a moron. He should not be allowed at any media scrums. He's not a journalist whatsoever. So, yeah, I think I got everything off my chest now on him.
And also, just I mean, just from observing, again, I don't know Kylie Ray. I guess none of us know these people, but to me, she seems like somebody who she's had a lot of issues with her mental health. And again, I'm a mental health advocate, but I just feel like, she's come and gone through a lot of different wrestling organizations. And for me, I wouldn't be lying my sword with her just because I feel like she has the right for her own mental health to do what she wants, but she's come and gone from so many different places because she hasn't felt her mental health hasn't been there. So to me, I wouldn't be lying my sword on that as a source. And again, I don't want to go there and rip somebody apart because I don't know the truth or anything like that. But just from what I've seen, how many different places she's been at, she's literally been at every wrestling organization and has left because she just couldn't feel it no more. I just wouldn't be rolling. I just wouldn't be running with this story. Christopher,
hang on. Before we go to Christopher, the one thing I do want to point out to folks, please don't be quick to take either side and don't take sides, period. Because again, nobody has any facts on any of this. A few people have posted many a times Kylie Ray's never mentioned AEW's ever done her wrong on her departure either. So, and I think that's a lot of bad on most of the IWC that's already went ahead and taken the sides on whether they're for Jericho or for Kylie Ray. Kylie Ray's never came out and accused Jericho of anything. So please keep that in thought when you kind of start digging a little more into this. So,
and also liking a post isn't a validation of, oh, I agree with, it could just be, I like what they said in general. It's like a lot of posts like is not a, it's like
no.
I have noties, and maybe I should more, but I just go and like their stuff because that's what we do to help each other grow. It's like, and so again, it's just like chill out, guys. It's like, go ahead, Christopher, then go, Drew.
Oh, I can't stand that dude, Nick Hausman. He was the one that caused that thing with the Colt Cabana thing with CM Punk, right?
Yes, no, he did. Yes.
Yeah, so I can't stand that dude. I just can't.
Go ahead, Drew.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
So, yeah, to reiterate, some of you said, we don't know what happened there. If anything, like at this point, like I'm not, I wouldn't be surprised if it goes either way. I mean, we've seen shocking things in wrestling, so it's like I said, I'm staying neutral. So it's like I said, we don't know everything. We don't know anything, honestly. We don't know what happened. He could be guilty, could not be guilty. It could just be fake. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know Kylie Ray. I don't know. Supposedly she has, I guess mental issues. I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with that. I don't know. Um, but I will say, what's it called? I had it right here on top of my tongue. Give me 1 second. Um, Yikes! Hold up. Let me get back to y'all.
Sure. And if anyone else, again, if you guys want to talk of if you have any last thoughts on this, because I really just want to talk about the card tonight. I don't want to be talking about the wrestling journalists the rest of the night. I don't mean again, and like you guys, like we just said, like we got to remember X is a place of engagement now, and people are looking to get likes and looking to get engagement because they're looking to get monetized. So I just want to leave it at that.
This is what I want to talk about. I want to talk about how fucking this is a little off kilter. How the fuck? Okay, so this is I was watching a lot of wrestling, so mine is like all over the place. How the hell is Z Dice popping up on Circle 6? I saw, right? And I was like, oh, this is kind of a good move. Then I saw my former rival, Adam Priest. This motherfucker gets in the ring. And he says, you know what? He says on Twitter, he's like, I don't want no glass. I was like, bro, you just entered the deathmatch tournament. What do you think is going to happen? This motherfucker gets mad and leaves. I was like, bro, how you going to enter a tournament and then you going to leave? I just don't get it. Well, he didn't leave the match, but he left the fucking, and it was like, oh, let me get a door. I was like,
Yeah, I remember what I was gonna say now.
Go ahead, Drew.
go ahead.
So back to the Jericho thing. Like I said, we don't know what happened. Supposedly it's what sexual harassment or something like that. Within the workplace or whatever. I don't know if it was within a whatever. But what I do know about that term, since I took like management courses and stuff like that, is stuff like that can be it could come from something as minuscule as a joke to something bigger than, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Like I said, we don't know we don't know what happened. But like I said, when it comes to like sexual harassment, I mean, like I said, you can be in a workplace, you can crack maybe a dark humorous joke with your friend and someone can hear that, they can legally say to HR that they were harassed. Like that's how minuscule, that's how small, something like that could be. So I don't know. That's just my thoughts. But yeah.
All right, and again, the thing was that they said that she went to his hotel room and there's supposed to be more people there, and then when she got there, he was the only one there, and he made a pass on her. But again, the same time for me, like again, being LGBTQ and stuff like that too, like I don't put myself in situations where I can be in danger with somebody because they can say anything and it's my word against theirs. And so I've always just been really aware of that, like to like make sure that like I don't go putting myself in situations where I might have someone say something about me, like I try to harass them or something like that, just because it's such an easy thing to do, So just in general, like always be aware of where you're going. I would never go meet someone in their hotel room. I do it in a public open place. Just always protect yourself because at the end of the day, it's always going to be your word against somebody else's, and that's just being smart. Also, I think the thing to remember about all these wrestlers too is just remember that we don't know who they are. Like all these things coming out with like Hogan and things like that. So just don't be so quick to champion these guys, and it's just a joke because we never know what's going to come out, and you don't want to be eating it later on. So just be careful of championing guys that we really at the end don't know about. Love them for their characters more than for the person, I would say. With that said, on the card tonight we had Willow Nightingale defeating Chris Statlander. Did anybody have any thoughts about that matchup at all? I think Chris is eventually going heel, and I wish there would have been some more follow up. I do love Stokely Hathaway on commentary. I think he should be on AEW more and not just be on Ring of Honor where they're not even utilizing him every week. Did any of you guys have any thoughts about that match?
I'll start. I thought it was a decent match, but there was 3 moments there where you could definitely tell it could have really been terrible because
Botches.
yeah, those botches were, I think, what kind of started the kill of the crowd because it definitely could have been executed much better. Other than that, I think I'd say their match wasn't really all that bad, to be honest.
Yeah, for me, like I would have. They're both hometown girls, and so for me, I would have started probably with the battle royal, just to ease them because they probably went in their extra hype, wanting to steal the show, and again, that's a lot of times where these botches can happen. But again, kudos for letting the women start it off too. Again, that's not a bad thing either. But yeah, I thought it was an okay match. And again, for me, I'm just looking to see where they go from here with that. Anyone else have any thoughts? We'll move on to the next match. Go ahead, Christopher.
Will Laningale fences Christian Winter's match was just fine for what it was, in my opinion.
So the next matchup we had was the Battle Royal. Again, we didn't know any of the participants. Again, this is the one match I got wrong with my picks because I thought maybe we'd get a debut here. For me, if I would call this the Ring of Honor Invitational, and again, it's not, and I'm not trying to dog on Ring of Honor, but besides Danhausen and Kill Switch, every person that was in this battle royal has been featured on Ring of Honor in the last 6 months. And to me, like if you're gonna do this kind of battle royal, I would have liked to seen like the homegrown guys, the Acclaimed in it. Why not? I would have liked to seen like FTR, Malachi Black, Buddy Matthews, Preston Vance. Again, I want to see the hometown guys in there, like John Silver and Alex Reynolds. But to me, I would have just liked to have seen more top stars in this because, again, to echo what Drew said, like the TNT title is the second most important championship in this company, and if you're going for a shot, where again you can get the shot anytime, like we saw later in the card, you're pretty much guaranteed to be the new champion. So why wouldn't there be more of a star power in this match? And again, for me, this is one thing I hope to see Tony Khan change in 2024, is I hope to just see him not worried about protecting guys' wins and loss records. And again, it's a battle royal, so who cares if somebody takes a loss? I just feel like it was really lacking star power. Anyone else want to share on that?
I'll say that in the Battle Royal, I understand why Kill Switch won. At first, I was like, oh man, I wanted somebody else to win. But then I understood the story of what they were trying to do later on. I was like, oh, okay. Because they had him win. I was like, oh, they must. My wrestler brain stepped on. I was like, first I was a fan. I was like, oh man, I wanted like somebody else to win, like maybe like Trenton to win and shit. But then when he won, like Quick Kill Switch won, it immediately switched on. I'm like, oh, they must gonna play this into the story later on tonight, or maybe the next Collision or Dynamite or whatever. So immediately I just switched it on, and I was like, yo, I think I'm gonna play something to it. So I understood what it was done and stuff. But like, it's something. For me, I don't even say it was Ring of Honor people. I just think if you was gonna do, you're gonna have people that was on Ring of Honor and stuff. But if that's the case, I would have had guys that's currently on Ring of Honor, because I would have had the Infantry, I would have had the Iron Savages, I would have had the fucking Outrunners, I would have had the Workhorsemen, I would have had LFI there, I would have had all these people out there. But now I know what it was. I just, it's what it is. I agree though, but Carlos.
Man, I hope they sign the Outrunners. Love them.
I love the Outrunners too. They're one of my favorite wrestling acts. Yeah, they're great.
I heard, so I'm not going to say yay or nay, but I heard they are like a per appearance deal. I don't know what tier, because there's obviously different tiers, but that's what I heard. So they get to do that in OVW. So, for those who be like, yo, who's on OVW? The Outrunners are on OVW, and soon that man will be on OVW.
No, they better lock down. Because I personally want to see FTR and the Outrunners. That would be like an old school classic right there.
I want to see. I need to see the Outrunners. I need to see FTR, and then I need to see the Iron Savages. Like a triple threat tag team match. I don't know. I just need to see that shit. But yeah. So that's the thing I would say. If you're looking for, if you ever want to watch OVW, watch that man and the Outrunners. Anyway, right. Yeah, they're good too. So
go ahead, Christopher.
Yeah, this is a good match.
I was going to go for Shelton Benjamin. I thought he was going to do whatever. But I was going for Lance Archer by the time, it started. And then, it was Kill Switch. So storytelling wise, it was good. But in my opinion, Lance Archer should have won that. Something new, something fresh. But the story made sense.
And just to echo what Leroy, as soon as Kill Switch won, I knew again. I'm like Adam Copeland's winning the title tonight, so I knew they were just building the next competitor. So the next matchup we had was Hook and Wheeler Yuta. This match was good for me. The one thing is it should have been for the Ring of Honor Pure Championship. And again, if you think Hook rather do that, then have him win. But like I said yesterday on our other show, it obviously just shows that Tony Khan thinks that Ring of Honor is beneath Hook. So why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he have that title on the line? So I thought it was an okay match. Again, I was a little sad that the crowd wasn't more into it, especially with Hook being the hometown guy. But the right person won. I like Wheeler Yuta. I know some people find him cringe on the mic. I enjoy his work. Anyone else have any thoughts about this one?
Oh, I like it. I like that they fucking gave him mic time, and like I feel like he felt that from his soul. Like he was like, I don't even fucking like Long Island. I heard that shit from his soul. He's like, this is not even the fucking favorite part of New York. Fucking Staten Island is way better than you. That's shitty too. I thought that was hilarious. But that's in his soul. Even though he's not the best micer, just like stick him in places like he's a Northeast guy. Stick him in places where the best thing, and I'll say this for me as a person who was an Eagle fan, when you stick me in Dallas, I'm automatically here. I can't be a babyface in Dallas. I like the city, don't get me wrong, it's a nice city, but like I like to talk shit about Dallas and any other rival team or place that I like. And that's what you do with Northeast people. He's a Northeast guy, he's a Philadelphia guy. We're obviously from different places, but yeah. Stick guys like us in places that we can't stand. So those are the best authentic promos. I don't think he was forcing nothing. I think he was like, yeah, I would like starting Lab Long Island. Staten Island is the better part. I don't even like that shit. You should have said like, hey, yo, Philadelphia is the best place in the world, and I don't even like being here. So,
go ahead, Christopher.
So yeah, the Hook versus Wheeler Yuta match was decent. I thought it was decent. But carry on.
All right, so now for the main card, the show opened up with the BCC, Claudio and Danielson, Mark Briscoe, Daniel Garcia versus the Jays, Roosh and Brody King. Like I already said, I wouldn't have had this match up in the card again. I would have gone with Edge and Christian or Adam Copeland and Christian. It was a good match for me. I guess I wanted to see now. I personally just want to see Dan Garcia join the BCC, going face again. The crowd's behind him, and you kind of saw the acknowledgement with Danielson at the end. Again, it was a good match. Again, it wasn't worthy of an opening match where you're trying to get the crowd hot. It just kind of felt like, to me, it felt like a main event for Dynamite, if I'm being honest, but I'm gonna lay my sword on that there. If anyone else wants to talk about this matchup, go ahead, raise your hand and you can speak. Go ahead, Christopher.
It was a decent match, but like you were saying, the beginning, they could have done Adam Copeland and Christian, but it was decent in my opinion.
Go ahead, Swamp Thing.
I just have one question to ask because honestly, I was enjoying the storyline between MJF and Adam Cole being like that, like the back and forth between Roderick Strong and MJF. I was enjoying all that. But my thing is, Tony Khan had gold with Adam Cole and MJF. And my thing is, I'm not quite understanding why he pulled the trigger on that tonight and revealed Adam Cole, because I thought that he had a chance to make a lot of money with Adam Cole and MJF and continuing to keep that going. So I wanted to get y'all's thoughts on that because I can't really quite understand why he did it.
Well, are you going to be sticking around for a little bit, or do you have to go?
I'm going to be in here for a while.
So can we talk about it at the end? Is that okay with you? We'll get to the main event. We're going to kind of just go through the card. We'll get to that at towards the end. Is that cool?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. I just jumped in, so I didn't really know what y'all was talking about. My bad.
No, you're good. And again, because there's some things I want to talk about that too. So we're just gonna go match. And again, if you don't want to talk, we can get to it very quickly. But like, yeah, we're just kind of going match by match right now, and then we'll talk about the main event.
We can wait till the end. That's fine.
Sounds good, man. I appreciate you.
No problem.
Anyone else have any thoughts about this one? Again, we can get to the next matchup. Going once, going twice.
Well,
all right.
Yeah,
Go.
it was just a filler match. There was just no reason for it to be on this. And again, Tony Khan, just because you have 6 hours to use, you don't need to use 6 hours. Less can be more sometimes.
Yeah. Go ahead, Christopher. Go ahead, Christopher.
I was just happy because Daniel Garcia picked up the win. That's why I was happy. I thought it was good. So. And again, I think these guys all did a good job. They deserve to be on the card. And again, that's right. For me, maybe next year you kind of build maybe where there's one-on-one matches with these guys and there's some blood feuds. Maybe the guy goes to settle the score against somebody who they lost to in the Continental Classic. Again, I think these guys deserve to be on the card. I just think there could have been a better utilization. And again, for me, it just not. I think opening the show with this match was just the wrong decision. So next one, we got Miro defeating Andrade. To kind of go off of what Drew was saying earlier, again, the news being released that Andrade is leaving, probably going back to WWE as soon as Monday. Again, it let me know that Miro was going to win this match. I thought it was a good match, and again, for me, like honestly, just my 2 cents is I will not be rooting for Andrade in WWE because I feel like he's doing AEW dirty. I feel like he should have worked. I feel like he should have worked out to his end of his contract. I feel like, asking that again, because again, we don't know everything. So but it just sounds like he's getting out early of his contract. Where Tony Khan could have added more time to it. He didn't with him being injured. I think Tony Khan did everything he could to make him happy, and even offering to let him go work with CMLL. And I just feel like he's leaving them kind of high and dry after being given a good spot. So again, if he wants to go be with Charlotte, I get it. I respect that. But I personally will not be cheering for the guy in WWE because I feel like he did AEW dirty. Anyone else? John, do you have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, first and foremost, I thought this was actually a pretty stellar match despite the situation with Andrade. I thought they did a really good job with having CJ Perry turn on Andrade as well. So, no, to be honest, I think this was probably the flawless match of the night out of all of them.
No, and again, it's a good match, and there's nothing wrong with knowing who's going to win. And again, Andrade did business going out the door, but again, like I just stand by what I said. Christopher, do you have any thoughts?
Yes. This was one of the matches, like I told you, that I liked. So I loved it, man. I really did. I thought it was a banger match, in my opinion, but that's just my thoughts on that.
Anyone else have any thoughts about this match?
I agree with you 100%. I think he's doing
we talking about the 6-man.
Let Swamp Thing talk first, Leroy, and then go ahead. We're talking about the Miro versus Andrade match. Go ahead, Swamp Thing.
I agree with you 100%. I personally think he's doing WWE dirty, but I mean,
well, that was actually Carlos that said that.
Oh well, I mean, to be honest with you, the way things are going here lately, I mean, we're hearing. I mean, everybody knows rumors are out there. You don't really know what to believe, but I mean, if the rumors are true that Tony Khan is doing bad business with certain people, Andrade may have well been one of those people that he was doing bad business with. I mean, we don't really know the factors, but I do want to believe 100% that Andrade is kind of doing him dirty, in my opinion.
Well, because like I said, at the end of the day, you finish out your contract, and again, Tony Khan could add time to it, but he's not, so, and he's paying it out. Did you have a comment about this, Leroy, or did you want to wait till the other match?
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Did you just see the media scrum? They really asked Tony in the middle of the Julia Hart
about Chris Jericho.
Yeah, I was like, who's this idiot? At least wait till the guys, everybody is out the picture. But okay.
Did Tony say no comment?
No, he actually responded. He basically reiterated that they have safety measures and safety policies in terms of like harassment and stuff like that. And there's always like he basically said that they always have open line communication, and basically said that the company, tries to have the safest policies and stuff like that going around, and if so they take it to the committee, the safety committee. That's basically what he said. I'm just mad they asked him like right in front of Julia's segment. I mean, they couldn't just ask him afterwards.
Oh, it was planted.
But again, it's one of those things where again they're trying to get the clicks and trying to probably get the clicks on X tonight. But again, they're not going to probably be invited to another media scrum again. So congratulations, you just lost access to asking questions.
So
yeah, in front of Julia Hart though, like
Yeah.
that had to be planned, because it's like, I mean, she's a women's wrestler herself, so it's like it's kind of like, damn, like really.
So just out of curiosity, Drew, did you happen to catch who it was that asked that question?
I'd have to rewind it. It wasn't anybody that you would think. Like
Oh,
it's not it's not the guy from WrestleTix. He's not there.
okay, because
I'm guessing Nick Hausman's not there. It
Good.
wasn't Dave.
it
It wasn't like Andrew Zarin or anybody, was it?
I don't think it was Andrew Zarian. It
He
was
wouldn't do that.
some guy off of, I don't know if maybe it was a podcast or radio or something. I don't know, something like that. I think it was one of those random guys.
No,
Right.
it's just going to be an instant block for me for that person. So
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, the timing was just what the hell. I mean, you could have asked it when everybody was out the picture and it was just Tony Khan. But okay.
But again, too, if you love the wrestling business and if you appreciate these artists and these wrestlers, why would you crash Julia's parade? That's just tacky. So again, they're
Yeah,
just looking for clicks.
How do these people attack you out here in these streets?
like you could tell it was a little awkward with Julia being right there. I was just like, wow, okay.
So what exactly is Jericho like? What's the deal with that? What's the deal behind that?
we're not going to.
We're gonna move past it. I mean, again, if we have time at the end,
Yeah.
we'll talk. We already talked about it. If you go look up, if you just type in Chris Jericho online, you can find it. Just really quick, guys, what we're doing right now with the show is we're just going match by match. Right now, we're gonna be moving on to Tony Storm and Riho. From there, at the end, we can talk about the main event and so forth. And if there's any closing stuff, we'll do that. But just the protocol for tonight is we're just kind of going match by match. And again, if you want to talk about that match, you can. If not, again, we'll move on more to the main event. So, KB, what'd you have to say?
Well, first of all, how's everybody doing this season? That's number one.
Good, man. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate that. Second thing is basically, I know you guys about to get to the women's match. I just want to say that AEW's women's division, I'm looking forward to what they do in 2024. I think they have a great foundation with women like Julia Hart, with like Tony Storm, Riho. I see Serena Deeb's coming back, Jamie Hayter's coming back soon. You got Willow Nightingale, you got Statlander. So I like what AEW's women's division, what they're going to be doing in the future, and who knows what free agents coming in 2024. I'll let y'all get back to what y'all were saying, and then I'll talk about the match at hand.
So again, Chris, did you have something to say about Miro and Andrade, or are you ready to talk about Tony and Riho?
Like I said again, that match was one of the matches that I love, man. I don't know why, but let's go to the Tony Storms and Ruby. Rio. I mean, let's say Rio versus Tony Storms, which
All right.
that was a fun match.
So for me, again, so the next match we had Tony Storm defeating Riho for the AEW Women's title. Again, for me, my biggest thing is I'm just looking forward to 2024. I just want to see these women having better storylines. I'm over the, girl comes back, beats somebody on Rampage and gets a world title shot. I want to see, and again, I think the the Tony feud with, and again with her little protege, if they do redo the Mickey James and Trish Stratus thing with Mariah May, I think that'll be a good storyline. For me though, I'm just kind of looking at, I want to see better. I want to see better booking for the women's division. Like I want to see better feuds. Like even on Ring of Honor, you have I think they're doing a good job with that. So hopefully that just goes to the main card. And that's for me. I'm just looking forward to Tony Storm and Rhea. I just want to see better storylines. So my question for you guys is if you have any thoughts on the match, and then also who do you guys think should be the next competitor for Tony Storm?
Go ahead, KB.
I would like to see going into Revolution a returning Serena Deeb. I know it's kind of counterproductive, but think about it. I think the clash of styles of Tony Storm and Serena Deeb, those two women could put on probably a damn good match for the women's championship. I truly believe that. Plus, it would give Tony a little bit more time to bring in another big name free agent. I'm not talking about Mercedes. I'm talking about probably a certain virtuosa whose contract with Impact Wrestling is running out. Is going to be running out very soon. That's just me myself personally. It's just my opinion.
But to counteract, would you like to see Mercedes in AEW?
I think Mercedes, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, I've been a Mercedes fan. I'm not trying to be a fanboy of Mercedes, but I really do think that she could be that lightning rod that the women's division in AEW needs. You know what I mean? To help bring that women's division to another level. I think if you bring Mercedes in, that's going to attract a lot more big name women's free agents to come on into AEW. Because everybody wants to wrestle the best. And let's be honest with ourselves. Mercedes right now is probably one of the top 5, maybe top 10 best women's wrestlers on the planet. You add her to the AEW women's division. I truly believe in my heart of hearts that's going to attract a lot more big name women's free agents to come on in. And who knows where we could be this time next year. So AEW women's division could look completely different. And selfishly, I do want to see Jamie Hayter versus Mercedes Moné in the AEW ring.
Go ahead, Drew.
Okay, so I have one concern about that. And I kind of want to hear what the room has to say. So, yes, bringing in Mercedes Moné, big deal, big signing. She'll get her money. The only concern I have is because this is exactly what's going on with WWE right now. Might happen to AEW later on, but if Mercedes signs with AEW, it's going to mean that AEW basically cashed out on Mercedes, which means she's probably going to have one of those big contracts that exceed either a female or a male talent, either way. So if this happens, do you think it's going to set a precedent to when some other people's contracts run up? Let's say like a Britt Baker, right? I don't think Britt Baker's going to want less than what Mercedes is making. Mind you, I don't know. I mean, they might heat Britt Baker up again. Britt Baker's not doing much of anything right now. But when it's said and done, when her contract expires, I mean, who knows? She might want more than what Mercedes is making. If Mercedes is making $5 million, she might want 6. She might want 5.5. If someone like Jamie Hayter's contract is up, how much would she want? If maybe someone like Sheeta as well, you also gotta consider that because it might set a precedent and it might price you out of keeping your core nucleus of talent from going to other companies or exploring other options. This is basically what happened with WWE right now. They spent a shit ton of money on Charlotte, and it's reported, her deal is, one of the biggest ever. And then they just signed Bailey, And I'm pretty sure they're gonna take care of Becky because I don't think they want Becky going to AEW, and especially if Seth is around. So they kind of price themselves out of Mercedes in that sense. So yeah, I just want to hear y'all thoughts.
So I'll answer really quick and then I'll go around to the room. So for me, if I was them, and again, because if she is who she thinks she is, what I would do if I'm Tony Khan is, okay, I think I heard that, again, these are just rumors. I heard that, I thought I read that she wanted $3 million a year to go back to WWE. If I'm Tony Khan, I offer her $2 million, but then I tell her that she can still do her own merchandising. She can still go work for New Japan if she wants to. She can go work for other places. So basically, if she is who she thinks she is, and she is the draw that she is, then she should be able to easily go make up that extra $1 million by working for the promotions, through her own merchandising, through her own stuff, through her movies, acting in movies. So if I would just give her a longer leash and let her, and let her go help the wrestling business. And I think that's one thing that AEW has uniquely that they have that WWE doesn't have, is they have a good working relationship with all these other places like New Japan, AAA. So again, I would bring her on, but let her continue to work for New Japan. It's a win-win for everybody else, and then that way they can pay some of the money that you don't want to pay her, because again, you're trying to keep the money low. But with that said, she is a game changer, and for me, I do everything I could to bring her in. Go ahead, Christopher, Swamp Thing, and then we'll go to Casey.
Mercedes Moné, man, I think she could go back to New Japan, like you were saying, Carlos. Saying all that good stuff. But at the same time, I think she'll go back to WWE. I don't know. We'll see.
Go ahead, Swamp Thing.
I know that Athena is a Ring of Honor champion, and she's been a Ring of Honor champion for a while. But I would like to see her back on AEW television, and I would like to see her fight Tony Stark.
And I agree.
Tony Storm, I'm sorry.
Oh, the Iron Man person?
And I agree with you too on that one. I think and again, to me, the fact that she didn't. Go ahead.
Mute your mic in the space.
Oh, sorry. the fact that Tony Storm didn't get, the fact that Athena didn't get called up, I think was a really bad thing. And again, it just kind of shows to where the women are booked. But I agree with you, Swamp Thing. I definitely think that I would bring up Athena yesterday and have her feuding with her as well. I like that as well. Go ahead, Casey.
I can't believe I said Tony Stark. I'm watching Iron Man with the kids. My bad.
in your Tony Stark pajamas. It's okay. Go ahead, Casey.
Well, I'm just gonna make this really quick. I think with Mercedes, if I'm Tony Khan, I know that Mercedes wanted to make the kind of money Charlotte did. Well, I think Charlotte's got like $3 million going in WWE. This is the offer I'll make Mercedes: $2.2 million for 3 years, with that third year being a third year option. Still give her the freedom to go to Stardom if she wants to go challenge for the New Japan Strong Women's Championship. Go get your IWGP Women's Championship back. Like somebody said, give her a longer leash, more freedom. Let her make her money. Let her make that other $1 million that she would have made. Let her make that just off merchandising, because she's gonna make it. And exactly. I really do believe that Mercedes is she a game changer if she comes to AEW? I believe so. I believe she could be that big name women's free agent that we've been waiting to see in AEW. Because I said this before, AEW has every major male free agent. You think of the top 10 wrestlers in the world, AEW probably has at least 6 of them. At the very least, they have 6 of them. The women, you can't really say that. But that's all I want to say about Mercedes. I hope she comes in, and I hope in 2024 we either Mercedes or we get Deonna Purrazzo in AEW.
And again, if you have her go in there and she makes all this other money, she's doing good merch, and then that it proves it shows that he was right to give her all that money in the first place. And then you want to have these women trying to demand the amount of money.
I just want to just say this: Mercedes coming into AEW brings in that casual wrestling fan. not just the hardcore wrestling fan, but it brings in that casual wrestling fan that AEW desperately needs. They need that casual fan.
Amen. Go
I
ahead,
think
Swamp Thing.
I think Jade, when Jade left WWE, I think that left a void in the women's division. So I don't really want to see them get desperate and try to go after. And I agree with you 100% about Mercedes, but I don't want AEW to like go into desperation mode, thinking that we lost Jade. But you got to realize AEW's women's talent is like really, really good.
Oh no, I'm not saying overpay for Mercedes at all. I'm not saying that whatsoever. I'm not saying overpay for Mercedes.
Just to kind of, but I think go ahead. Just to like, but I think the thing that you're about Mercedes though, and here's the big thing is that if Tony Khan has her, then he's going to be more encouraged to book the women in a better spot. You're going to get those 2 matches on a Dynamite. You're going to get the women headlining a pay-per-view. You're going to get those multiple matches on Collision. So she's gonna make Tony Khan care more about the women's division by having her there. So I think that's where it is, or she's a game changer, and I think she's worth it. Go ahead, Drew.
Absolutely. Can you imagine? I mean, Britt Baker versus Mercedes. That can main event a Dynamite. Or if you tell the story correctly and the story is just right, probably could main event a pay-per-view.
No, I agree. And again, her and Thunder Rosa would slap. I mean, it's just having that main card person is going to make Tony Khan care more about the women's division. And again, and then it's going to make Warner Brothers Discovery care more about the women's division. And you'll
just think about how you can market this. Their WWE's biggest star versus AEW's biggest women's star. Mercedes versus Britt. That right there, if you book it correctly, that can main event or at least co-main event a pay-per-view.
Oh yeah, then if you brought in Deanna too, then you could eventually bring in Trinity to be her friend. You know, there's a lot they could do.
Yeah, big. Keep this in mind. Trinity's contract with Impact Wrestling does expire at the end in the middle of 2024. She didn't sound like a damn near 1-year contract.
I mean, they could always rehash the Outcast with Mercedes Moné as the leader, you know, and really make it what it should have been a year ago.
Another one, Saraya and Mercedes. There's history right there.
Oh yeah, big time. That's the one that injured her. Yep, exactly. Go ahead, Drew.
Okay, so one of the points, so bringing Mercedes in, that's a no-brainer. Listen, yeah. that is a no-brainer. What's it called? Someone said that that they should be careful bringing, you know, the other woman that they attract in. So I think, you know, part of the reason why they never reached out for negotiations with what's her name, Julia, right, is because I think, and you know, this I'm not in Tony's head, but I think he's starting to build from within. He's starting to build the division from within. So I think that was the reason why they never reached out to Julia, because they were trying to focus on their own women that they have that may not get, you know, TV time or whatever. I mean, all you gotta do is look at the card. I mean, when was the last time we seen Abaddon before this recent push? We haven't seen her since probably year 2. You know what I'm saying?
Well, did you know the stat that this was only Riho's first match on a pay-per-view since 2019?
Exactly.
It's crazy.
Exactly. So I think what they're doing now is I think a lot of the male talent that left from WWE and went to AEW, I think Tony, or I think whoever, you know, is running right now, I think they're learning from that experience in the sense of, you know, these guys, they come in, you know, they come in with an entitlement. You know, I just came in from the biggest conglomerate company in the world. I deserve this, that. So I think what he's doing now is I think he's being cautious to who he brings in within the women's division, while trying to build his own women's stars from his homegrown crop of talent. So I think that's what he's doing. Like I said, Mercedes is a no-brainer. But I think they're really trying to build that division up like very grassroots. In terms of Mercedes and Britt Baker and all that other stuff, um, I think Mercedes, she comes in, I think she's gonna be like the female CM Punk. Not in a negative way, in the sense of she's gonna bring focus to that division. Anything she tells Tony, he's gonna take even more consideration in. And she's gonna be the one kind of, I wouldn't say pulling the strings, but she's gonna be a woman's locker room leader in that type of aspect. The only thing I'm concerned about is if it gets to someone else's head. And that would be someone like a Britt Baker, who, like I said, Britt Baker's been there. She's the first woman ever signed to that company. She, for quite a while, she was the face of that division. So, is there going to be a ego clash there? There might be. Britt Baker doesn't have the best reputation in the world, so I don't know how that's gonna go. And Mercedes Moné, she doesn't back down. She's not the type to really, she's not gonna play, second fiddle. She's not gonna, because she's the star, rightfully so. But I don't know.
Well, to me, it sounds like that. If like again, the best rivalries are the ones where there's real heat, right? It's like Seth Rollins, CM Punk. So again, if they don't like each other, that's a good thing, because again, I think
As
that
long
Britt's already proven that
as
she
it
can work with
doesn't
people.
bleed, as long as it doesn't bleed backstage. I mean, if they play it off as a storyline, good. That's good on them. But if there's legit, animosity or jealousy because she has the spot that Britt wanted or whatever. Because I could see that. I could physically. I mean, I wouldn't say it happened with Thunder Rosa, but there was animosity there. They were still able to work together. But I mean, I don't know. It might be a situation where it's like, kind of like in the WWE where it's like, Becky and Charlotte, they legit don't like each other, or whoever in Charlotte. I don't know. A lot of people don't like Charlotte, but yeah.
And again, I think the important thing I have to remember with Britt, and that's the reason, and like why I said about like I would let her go work for New Japan too, and the money is because Britt Baker does run her dental practice, and so she's doing that on her days off. And so for me, that's how you would kind of like avoid some of that conflict, because you could be like, hey Britt, we're still letting you go. She does her own business still on the side. So I think by tying it into New Japan for Mercedes and stuff like that, by like making Britt aware that she still does her own thing on the side, that she doesn't really want to work the weekends because she's doing her dental practice or work the other days. Like that's how you kind of keep all that stuff in check. That's my own 2 cents about that. So anyway, so let's move on to the next one. Because we're gonna try to end this up at the top of the hour, guys. So does anyone have anything to say about the Swerve and Dustin match that hasn't already been said? If not, I'm gonna just move on to the next match.
Well, the storytelling.
Huh?
I love the in-ring storytelling.
No, it was a good story, and again, for me, I was like, man, if this was reserved for Keith, that would have been crazy. But no, it was a good storytelling, and again, I would have liked to seen him squash it more, and again, because these pay-per-views do run so long that I would have liked to just seen a shorter match. But it was great storytelling, and again, for making, they made do for what they had to do, so props to them.
Can I speak on the match?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't feel like the match was bad. I feel like they had to book that last minute, obviously, so they had to fill that time that was permitted for Keith and Swerve. And I get it. They did the injury angle way at the beginning, and he shouldn't have been wrestling. But it's not like they could just cut a match super short and then have other matches run longer. You know what I'm saying? So I get what they did. So I mean, you know, and Swerve is a heel, but he's a fan favorite too now. So it's kind of I don't know how that's gonna turn out, but yeah, I get what they did. The execution kind of wasn't like the execution was kind of like but it it is what it is.
Anyone else? All right, so the next match we have is we had Sting, Darby, Jericho, and Sammy defeating the Don Callis family, and then Ricky Starks and Big Bill. My biggest thing for this match, and again, we don't want to talk again. We're going to leave all the allegations. Just talking about my biggest thing about this is I just want to know if Ricky flipping Chris Jericho off was real or that was or kayfabe. That to me was that's my biggest thing that I'm interested to see, and that's the storyline I'm going to be looking for going into this, is that if that was real or not. Go ahead, Christopher.
I think that was real.
I think it was real too. Yeah.
I thought it was a very fun match, in my opinion. I liked it. I really did. I wanted the Don Callis, the family, to win, but still was a good match. 8-man tag. I liked it though.
Can I ask what I heard a couple of you people say that what they thought was real? Can y'all what did y'all think was real?
When Ricky Starks flipped off Chris Jericho.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
Yeah.
for me, there was two parts that were real, genuine. Was Ricky Starks flipping Jericho, probably based off whatever happened, and probably based on the past, because he's never Ricky Starks never ended on top of all the feuds that they had. He never really helped him climb that mountaintop. And there's also another moment within the entrance where I'm pretty sure the video's on Twitter, but I think even like Darby Allin was like, I don't know if he said like "fuck you" or some wild shit, but that's what is being discussed, and I think there was a video. Whoever knows how to read lips, I mean,
Okay.
they'll get it. But he did say something in the sense of like, like "fuck you" or some shit. I don't know. Maybe Jericho lost some of the respect of the locker room. I don't know what happened, but to me, the match just felt clunky. Well, not clunky, but it felt weird.
It was a mess.
So to me, like I would have had this, I would have put the match on second and got it out of the way, and so we could have moved on and had more focused on the other stuff than this match. But that for me, that's what I'm looking out to. If this is real, and if it was real animosity, then I would have took out Jericho backstage and just had it be a 6-man match.
Well, I feel like obviously during the before it spread like wildfire, and and the crowd, I would thought they would have been in tune with it, but they Jericho came out and they sung his song just like they do every arena. So I mean,
wait a minute now.
I don't know if people are like, we're gonna wait till more comes out, or
Now wait a minute now, because they were chanting NDA and a lot of other shit.
I mean, that, but you're not, but okay, but that, I mean, I get that, but it's as soon as Jericho music hits, if a majority of the crowd was like, okay, he did it or whatever, then they would have either booed or they would have sung his song. But
I don't know.
It was just like a regular. It was just like a regular entrance.
I just think it's part of the stick. I think they're gonna.
You go there to sing Judas, like you want to go there. You want to hear the Acclaim rap. You want to sing Judas. You want to say Adam Cole, baby.
Yeah.
You want to do the Swerve.
All the hits.
Yeah. But I mean, the only thing I got about this match is I wouldn't have had one of the tag team champions getting pinned in this match.
Yeah.
That looks kind of crazy to me.
Oh, John. Also one thing though. You know how you said you would have pulled Jericho out of the match?
Yeah, it's Carlos. It's me and Carlos. But yeah, it's Carlos. Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So I think here's the thing though. If you pull him out of the match, it's only gonna further the perception that he might have been
Exactly.
guilty.
Exactly.
Fair point.
So that's the risk you take.
You pull Jericho out, they're gonna be like, "Oh yeah,
He's guilty. Get him.
Like, oh yeah, he's guilty as fuck. Yeah.
True. Good point. Good point. But like I said, I would have just had the match go on second. And again, I want to know, for me, if the thing was real. I personally think Ricky Starks is counting the days down until he gets to go to WWE and be with his friend Cody Rhodes.
Oh, for sure. Him, Andrade, Malachi,
Buddy Matthews, yeah, and Ricky Starks.
they're going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyone else want to talk about, because again, we talked about, but if you guys missed it, we talked already before about all this stuff. We don't want to get into this stuff anymore. We just want to keep talking about the card. So going once, going twice. Anyone else have anything to want to say about this match?
Done.
All right, done. So the next match we have is Juliet Abaddon. I mean, again, this match is what it is. I mean, I do like, again, that they're giving the spotlight more. Like we talked earlier, we're talking about the women already, using Abaddon more. Again, I hope she doesn't disappear until next Halloween. Again, she's one of those people. She's worked on her body. She's worked on her moves. She deserves to be there. I like Sky Blue. Again, I put her as part of the thing already. You know, again, but I just like the work they're doing. Again, it's the women are evolving. But yeah, I thought this match was okay. I was just kind of, I was expecting more. I kind of thought maybe they steal a show, but one person that talked about this is that these two women aren't really known to be ring generals. And so one person had to take charge. And I think they did fine. You know, I think it was an okay match. But again, I'm just happy to see that the TBS title, that we got two women's matches on the card. I'll take that as a win. And again, with Statlander and Willow on the pre-show, we got 3 women's matches. So I'll take that win any day of the week. Go ahead, Christopher.
I thought it was cool, in my opinion. I liked it. It was better than 2 minutes, like Julia Hart said in that. I watched a little bit of it, but yeah, I'm just saying. But anyways, I thought it was a decent match. So.
And give props to the crowd. This is spooky.
Yeah, that was cool.
On Wednesday, was it Willow or Chris that helped out, or am I thinking about a different match?
They helped her out, I think, on Collision.
I'm talking about, was it Dynamite? It must have been Dynamite this past Wednesday. What, or am I thinking about when Willow came out? Who did she help? She helped out.
Who fought last week? I'm drawing a blank on Dynamite.
On Dynamite, I thought Willow came out to help. Who helps? Abaddon. I think it's Willow that helps her out.
I think they both do. I think they both have in the past.
Yeah, the thing is, I mean, I love the match, but it was like, okay, Sky Blue came out, so what? Where was Willow at? Willow she just wasn't in the building.
Well, because she had her thing going on. She had her thing going on with Statlander already. You know, again, it's wrestling booking. I get what you're saying too. I get your point.
Yeah, but overall, AEW, as far as the wrestling goes, I mean, is good. You know, I'm not. Every match was top tier. So, I mean. I don't have no issue. I just want to know what they're gonna do moving forward with Julia and because I think she could. I think they need one more girl. I don't know who it would be, but I think she could run her own faction under the black. Black. Sorry, but under that group. So I think she should get her own faction.
I agree. Right, so the next matchup we had was Adam Copeland defeating Christian, and then Christian defeated Adam Copeland. Again, I already said what I wanted to say about this match. I thought this should have opened the show. Again, these are two guys who know how to get the crowd into it. To me, I would have had the guys opening the match. It was a really good match. Again, like what Leroy talked about earlier, I would have let the fire thing go, and I would have just made sure I got Nick to the table. My one thing criticism for this is if they're gonna do that, like make this Money in the Bank. then I feel like the tag team match should have been like that too. And we should see Jericho and Sammy coming out anytime to beat the tag champions, because if you're going to do it like that, then that's how everybody should win. Because again, wouldn't you want to get the guaranteed victory? But I thought this was a great match. Again, they both showed out. Again, it's obviously going to keep continuing. My one criticism too, and I think Adam Copeland, he's one of the best heels in wrestling. So I just expect him to be smarter. With that said, I think he should have people there automatically to counteract Nick Wayne and his mom. And I think Nick Wayne's mom has the potential to be like the Vicky Guerrero of AEW, because she's a bitch that I hate. So I think that she's doing her job very well. Go ahead, Drew.
I like the match. I think this one was it was a crowd, kind of the crowd, they just woke up alive. The only minor criticism was the table spot. I was just like, oh, nailed it. Oh, it missed by a little bit. What's it called? I know, I think the finish, a lot of people were divided. Some people liked it. Some people didn't like it because it was too, switcheroo-y, I guess. I like the finish personally. It kind of reminded me of, I don't know if some of y'all saw I think it might have been a year or 2 years ago when Josh Alexander won the title, and then Moose came in and just cashed his briefcase in and won it right after. Kind of reminded me of that finish a little bit. So, and I liked how that storyline went. So, I like the finish personally. And yeah, they worked their ass off. So, I mean, I liked what they did with the whole setup in the buy-in, leading to the show, and having the finish culminate. So, yep.
Go ahead, Christopher.
I thought the Copeland Fences match was great. I liked it. I really did. I thought it was good.
And for me, the one thing I would love to see with this is I would eventually like to see the Hardy Boys get in this feud to kind of, get themselves to be relevant again and help Adam Copeland. And then maybe eventually we see him turn on them. And that's how we get that match one last time. Any last thoughts about this one?
Yeah, about the Hardy Boys, I would say I would kind of steer away from that, because they're gonna be like, well, you're just trying to reinvent a WWE angle. It's how the rivalry between
the fans want to see it though. The fans want to see it again one more time.
No,
I get that, but they're not of age.
They're
not of age.
They're gonna fight for Lita again.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean,
well, instead of TLC, we'll have the resting home match. We'll do it in a resting home. They'll throw wheelchairs at each other. Hit each other with the applesauce. It'll be great.
I don't know.
As far as the match goes, I didn't have no problem with it. Usually when females get involved in Edge's matches, Beth comes out, and obviously that didn't happen tonight. So,
I was waiting for that one.
Yeah, I was like, she's coming out any time, but he's gonna have to get some people behind him. So
I think Beth is gonna happen though, eventually.
Yeah, I'm curious to see who he gets behind him. The Christian just proved that he's a top heel in the business right now at the age he is. Again, it's crazy. So, but yeah, I didn't have no problem with how it went. It's, I think this should have been their first match together. They shouldn't have put their match together on, I think, what was it, on the Dynamite or something, or Collision or whatever, a couple weeks ago. I think Tony kind of
jumped the gun.
Jumped the gun on that. I would not have put that match on. I don't care how you booked it, but I would not put that match on TV for free. There's no way. So yeah, that's what I got.
Anyone else?
Oh, yeah.
I just hope they don't bring back the Hardys versus Edge and Christian again. I don't want to see that again. I've seen that years ago.
All righty, fair enough. Carlos is on the island by himself.
and that table spot was nasty. It was nasty work. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
again, they should have just dropped the fire and they should have just put him to the table.
Yeah.
Like I said before, that shit is frustrating.
And then because then Nick Wayne oversold it too. Like, don't sell it so much if you didn't go through the table. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Or
He
catch
thought he
fire.
went to the table. He
Yeah.
thought he went to the table, but like he was like, he's probably like, "Fuck."
And I see a lot across Twitter. They're AEW is getting flack over the contract thing, and it's like Damian Priest tried to cash in 15 times and hasn't been successful one time. But the one time AEW that tries to do it, now everybody has a problem with it. It's just like stop it, stop.
And like I said, I liked it, but for me, then I want to see the tag champions do the same thing, because the Young Bucks had it, and now it's with Christian and now it's with Chris Jericho and Sammy. So again, they should do the same thing, and just again, you want to be champion, go get the belts,
I mean, I get that, but this was actually had a contract. They didn't have a contract. They just had a, whoever wins this match gets the number one title, and then that was just known. They didn't have like no contract, but you know what I'm saying? I get AEW could have did a better job of explaining, but it is what it is.
I mean, and that's the thing with professional wrestling is you recycle the best ideas. I think the Money in the Bank's a cool concept. If you want to go there, it was Chris Jericho's idea. So if he wants Tony Khan to use it somehow and AEW, go for it. And again, why not try and see if they got something with it? Because I think it's cool, and especially when a heel uses it. Because like they said, the Feast or Fire is a playoff of this. It's the Casino Battle Royal is a playoff of the Royal Rumble. I mean, they're all going to try to get their own things or these cool ideas, so there's nothing wrong with that. That is professional wrestling.
Yeah, I agree. And then, another thing I wanted to say was at the end of the day, if Christian would have won and then Luchasaurus, I mean, do y'all call him Kill Switch or I call him whatever.
Let's Kill Switch.
Yeah,
Kill Switch.
It would have been stable on stable, and no, they don't. You know what I'm saying? It's wrestling 101. You don't do that within the stable, like unless one's a face or one's gonna turn face, and then you know what I'm saying. So I get why they did it because they didn't want to have another Luchasaurus or Kill Switch versus Edge or Christian. So.
As long as they don't have styrofoam tables like they had a styrofoam ramp, I'll be happy.
All right.
As long as Christian stays champion and he's a menace every week, I don't give a shit.
Exactly. Like
I don't give a shit.
What was Edge gonna do with that belt?
He was gonna sing a sob story and then have a heel come out. That's it.
Yeah.
I just want the Christian Cage Father's Day cards. That's what I want to see next year.
Man, listen, I don't give a shit if Christian Cage has a Roman Reigns type of run. The man is gold, okay? The man is a menace. He's a savage. I think this is the best run of his career. It might rival the TNA run. It might even surpass it. But
yeah,
the guy is just killing it, man.
You could argue, yeah, he is. And you can argumentatively say that at their later age, Christian has risen above Edge. Like,
yup.
Like you can.
It's definitely it's aspiring because you can get a run no matter how old you are. So.
And just never, and again, him, he's proven it. LA Knight's proven it too. You don't give up on yourself. And again, if you believe in yourself and you go for it, the wrestling fans will get behind you.
Hey, all you had to do was give Christian the ball. That's what WWE never did.
Yeah, once you turn a certain age in WWE, they give up on you.
That's the one.
Even if he was his younger self, they never gave him the ball because they always looked at him as
the sidekick. He's the Robin to Edge's Batman.
Yeah,
he's the Matt Hardy to Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, that too, and obviously he couldn't. They once you get a certain age in WWE, because they wrestle, they throw on shows 4 or 5 times a week. Like he would never be able to keep up.
They're focused on the youth.
Yeah, like they would never be able to keep up with that. So
That's the one idea Tony Khan did not copy. Was he let Christian Cage go out there and do his thing, and
Yep.
everybody fucking loves it. You cannot sit there
Yep.
and say, everybody's always saying, well, Tony Khan copied this and Tony Khan did that. No, Tony Khan was smart enough to realize that Christian Cage is head above everybody else when it
Money.
comes to being a heel.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we all look like idiots now because at the time when he signed Christian and he hyped it up, everybody was like, "Oh shit, okay."
I wasn't. I was excited.
Another old
I was excited. I don't
WWE.
know what y'all.
I know, right? I was
with
excited.
it. But a lot
But
of
and again, I think that's what people need to realize with the fact that he's in that the reason why Adam left WWE is because Christian was trying to go back to WWE because he was cleared and WWE didn't want him, so he went to AEW.
Yep.
So wrestling fans need to remember that narrative.
Yep. And now they're paying the piper.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Another thing is, people were mad that Cody didn't beat Roman at WrestleMania. It's like you can't just have somebody just come in and beat your top star. I'm not comparing. I'm not saying Christian and Edge are their top stars, but it's just like you can't have Cody just come in from another company at your biggest show and beat your top star. There's no way. You can't do that.
We'll save we'll save that conversation for another day. We talked.
Okay. Now see if the same outcome happens this year, then
Yeah, exactly. The better, yeah. Well, I'll forgive you for this year, but this year it needs to happen.
I mean,
all right, guys.
Go
ahead.
Go ahead.
Huh?
I said I wouldn't be mad if it didn't happen, but
I'm over again. Let's talk about. I don't want to go another 2 hours of this. So let's talk about the next matchup we have is Eddie Kingston defeating Jon Moxley. Again, I had a feeling that he was going to win. I would have liked to have seen Eddie have to beat him up a little bit more, but again, I get the quick hit. But again, for me too, I question, was this because they're running out of time? And if they're running out of time, could they have cut time off of the swerve match? Again, that's just how my wrestling head works. But again, the match is what it does. Again, they're two guys that the crowd loves. It was the right finals. It was the right outcome. And I'm happy for Eddie. Again, he's like the AEW Dusty Rhodes. He's the common man that you want to root for. That's good on the mic, and he's someone the fans want to get behind. Go ahead, Christopher.
I'm happy, man. I'm happy that Eddie Kingston won. I thought it was good, really good stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I think Eddie Kingston deserved it. I know a lot of people don't know him, but I like the dude. I really do. I know I'm talking about the WWE fans don't know him that much, but anyways, I'll carry on.
Well, for me, it's like what people say, like, does Eddie know this isn't real? Like, I love that passion, it's like, it's real to him and it's real to me. And it's, I love that I love that his heart, he leaves his heart on his sleeve. And that's the kind of person I am. And again, that's why I will always root for Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, man. I loved it. I like the match. I don't think the match disappointed at all. It was a good match, good to great. The moment afterwards, I think it was the cherry on top. Like I said, man, he deserves it, man. He really takes this shit as real life. It's really real to him. So it's like. And you gotta appreciate that, man, because some people, they like to play wrestler. They like to act one way, and then in real life, they're this, and they're they're a character one day, and then they're real life. And not. He's Eddie Kingston, authentic. Doesn't play a character, nothing.
24/7, he's Eddie, bro.
Exactly. So it's like, man, yeah, he deserved it in his home, his home state. So it's like, man, I think with him, man, it was probably emotional to him, man. It was definitely one of those moments.
Yeah, just real quick, and that's the thing. It's something I like about AEW, but sometimes I don't like it. Is that the they end the match and then they immediately start a match. It's like, but some matches you need you need to have somebody, whoever went hold the championship, walking up the ramp and all
Mm-hmm.
that, to celebration. But they, they're so focused on cut it in
Yep.
in and out, and this is
Gotta
like,
let the moment breathe.
yeah, exactly. And I love it, but I don't like it at the same time, if that makes sense. So.
Yeah.
And that's again where I said if the swerve match would have been cut shorter, they would have had a little bit more time. But at the same time, you're trying to give time to the main event. Again, just like you said, just give yourself a little breathing time, and that again, and then it would. Like, I agree, they should let things breathe a little bit more.
Well, I think just the main difference is, in one hand you're dealing with network television, and then on the other hand you're dealing with pay-per-view. You have a little bit more flexibility. So that might just be a
went
timing.
30 minutes over the, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was like 9:30 or on my time when the conclusion of the MJF match started happening. And I'm still like, damn, y'all, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get it, but
yeah,
shit, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, it's pay-per-view versus TV, so I get it. So
yeah,
I'm not mad.
All right, so let's move on to what everyone wants to talk about. So in the main event, we had Samoa Joe defeat MJF. At the end, we also got the reveal of the Devil, which again, to me, this was the right call. Again, having it be Adam Cole. Again, sometimes you don't overthink things. Again, for me, my one complaint about this, and I'll leave it. Again, talk about what you want to talk about. Swamp, you can re-ask your question. For me, it just doesn't. The only thing about the storyline for me that doesn't make any sense, and I'm glad to see that. I'm glad to see that Joe won the title. The one thing for me that doesn't make sense is if you are in a faction, wouldn't you want the guy from your faction to be the champion if you're hurt? So with that being said, should it have been Wardlow that defeated Samoa Joe? Because again, if you're why would you give it to somebody else that's not in your faction when you're in a faction that you're trying to ruin MJF? Why wouldn't you want it to be somebody that's in your own faction? So my one criticism would be, I like the reveal, and again they had to pivot obviously because Adam's hurt and MJF's hurt, and again I'm glad they didn't keep the belt on MJF. But I just question why Wardlow wasn't the one to beat him for the title and keep it in house instead of helping somebody else win the title. Go ahead, Drew.
Can I ask you before he goes? Can I get you wanted Wardlow to be to get the title, but we haven't seen Wardlow on TV in how long? You know what I'm saying?
And I get that, but that's also, but I they also had 4 months to do it, where he's been back. They could have built him up, and again, it's also one of those things where Wardlow, to me, like we talked about this on other shows, like if Wardlow would have been kept hot, he would have been the natural person to beat MJF because he beat him for the TNT time, or he beat him for the not for the he squashed him back at Double or Nothing,
contract.
The contract, yeah. So to me, so to me, like it would have made sense for storyline wise for Wardlow to be the one to beat MJF again. If MJF was the heel, threatening to leave 2024, would have made sense for Wardlow to be the savior. But even that as a heel, I get what you're saying. It just, to me, it does. If you're a faction, you're trying to be the top faction, wouldn't you want the titles to stay with you? And that's my only criticism. Even if it was Roderick Strong, I mean, again, do I see him as a champion? No, but he's been featured on TV more and more. Why wouldn't you want it to be in house instead of helping somebody else win the title when you're trying to be a top faction? That's my one criticism.
But let
Drew talk, and then please raise your hand. Then you can talk. Drew had to stand up first. Go ahead, Drew.
All right, so in terms of maybe the the storyline in that sense not making sense, I'd just say wait it out a little bit, see where they go with it. I mean, you never know. Maybe that faction could implode in the future. Maybe some things go awry. I'm not sure where they're gonna go with it. But like I said, it was the right call with Adam Cole being the devil. I did panic a little bit when Adam Cole came out, cuz I was like, cuz for me the ideal reveal, the way I had it planned in my head was Adam Cole was gonna come out with the full suit and the mask, and then take the mask off or whatever when it was necessary. So when I saw him just coming out in regular street clothes, I was just like, "Oh shit!" So is it really Jack Perry? Like,
Oh no.
had a small thought. I was just like, "Oh boy."
They could have
I
went that
was-
way.
Hold on, guys. Let one person talk at a time, please, guys.
Yeah. I was just like, when he came out in just regular street, I guess, he had the all black, but still, like, he just came out regular, whatever. I was just like, oh, so is it really Jack Perry? What the hell? But then I was just like, I don't know about that. I mean, that's kind of suicide at that point. And then in terms of the actual like reveal, I would have liked, instead of them blacking out the arena and having the guys just go to Adam Cole's side, because I didn't understand that, because it's like, so they just let they were holding MJF, they let MJF go from the hold, and then they just went to Adam Cole's side while it was blacked out. I would have, instead of blacking out, I would have just had the masked guy hit MJF in the head, kind of like, go back and forth between, and then boom, MJF gets laid out, and then at that point, everybody's gonna know it's Adam Cole. Just have Adam Cole, give out that smirky smile, that like prick like smile, and then boom, you're off to the races. But that's just me.
Go ahead, Swamp Thing. You had your hand up next, I think. Swamp Thing, are you there? All right, Christopher, go ahead.
Yeah, bro.
I was gonna say the Samoa Joe and MJF match was great. I was happy for Joe. You know what I'm saying? And Joe, in my opinion, he should have served that in WWE. But anyways, I'm happy that he's the AEW World Champion. I don't know if he's going to go back to WWE in the future, but if he does, I would love that. But anyways, the thing, the reveal with Adam Cole, which was great, and the Kingdom loved it, man, and Warlow and Roderick Strong, so I loved it. So that's all I have to say.
Are you back, Swamp Thing?
Yes, I am.
Okay, go ahead and restate your question or say what you wanted to say, then we'll go from there.
Well, I'll say this much. Everything about what happened in the main event, the match was great. I thought the reveal was great, but I did think that Tony Khan kind of fell flat. He was trying to create an epic moment, but I don't, if you really, really want to see like an actual heel, which we know Adam Cole can be, I really wished Adam Cole would have cost him the match. That would have made more sense. But my question that I asked earlier was, did Tony Khan pull the trigger at the right moment? And was it like the best thing? Because I thought financially and storyline wise, I really enjoyed the whole thing with MJF and Adam Cole and Roderick Strong and the rest of them. Like every week they had something going on, like with the wheelchair and everything else. I really thought that they could have kept it going, and I think financially, I think it would have been better if they kept it going just a little bit longer.
So